Welcome back to the Gridiron Expert. We are continuing our series on the draft needs for every single NFL team, and today we're wrapping up the AFC, addressing the AFC East and the AFC West. So we'll jump into the NFC starting tomorrow. But I want to begin today over in the AFC East, where the New England Patriots have the number 4 pick in the NFL draft. So another very high pick for the Patriots. Been a rough go-around ever since Tom Brady left. They had the top 3 pick last year, ended up going with Drake May, who definitely seems like he is the answer and the franchise guy in New England. They now have a number 4 pick, and things seem to be trending in the right direction for New England. Got a new coach in Mike Vrabel, who has plenty of head coaching experience in the league, is a Patriot guy. They were big spenders in free agency, especially on the defensive side of the ball, and then recently just went out and added Stephon Diggs to give Drake May an elite wide receiver option. The Patriots, to me, look like a team that could be this year's version of the Commanders. The Commanders last year had the number 2 pick, but a first-year head coach in Dan Quinn. Things were, looking like it's going to be a rebuilding year, and they made the NFC Championship. Not saying that's going to happen for the Patriots, but this team could be better than people realize, especially if they continue to draft well. And what's their biggest need right now? It's the offensive line. They've got to protect their franchise quarterback. Their offensive line has been absolutely atrocious. And they made a few free agency moves to address that, but not nearly enough. So this is a team that has to go out there and get some talent there. It's looking more and more likely they're going to go with Will Campbell out of LSU, which would be a phenomenal pick despite people criticizing his arm length. I think this is a great pick for the Patriots. Even if they don't go Campbell, they still got to go offensive line and then maybe pick up a wide receiver in the later rounds to continue to give Drake May some weapons. They've addressed a lot of needs in free agency. They need to continue to do so in this draft. But the Patriots are a team to watch out for, not just in the draft, but once the season starts as well. The Jets at number 7. Their biggest need, it could go a lot of different ways here. They've got themselves a quarterback in Justin Fields. The Aaron Rodgers experiment did not pan out, and so they went out and got Justin Fields, which is massive. A young quarterback who has shown flashes of brilliance at time in his young career, just needs a good situation. Historically, the Jets would not be that good situation, but at least he's given himself another shot, right? This is a team that defensively feels like they've got it together. I mean, they're not perfect by any means, and they still need some things to address there, but if you're the Jets, you've got to address the offensive side of the ball, specifically the offensive line, or maybe finding Justin Fields another playmaker. There's a lot of rumors circulating right now. The Jets could be looking at a tight end, and Tyler Warren, the best tight end in this class, would more than likely still be available at number 7. So this would be a great pickup for them. Warren not only a threat in the passing game, but a solid blocker as well. If the Jets want to lean away from that and want to protect Fields, who didn't have the greatest situation as a starter in Chicago before he went to Pittsburgh, they obviously would address the offensive line, which has been an issue these last few years as well. So if you're the Jets, you're going offense and you're going offensive line, or you're going pass catcher, but maybe kind of getting best of both worlds by getting a tight end. That's who I'm thinking for New York. The Dolphins at number 13. Has to be offensive line. So pretty offensive line heavy in the AFC East. Patriots desperately need it. You could argue the Jets definitely need it. And the Dolphins definitely need it. If you want to keep Tua Tagovailoa healthy, and we know how many injuries he's had in recent years, how bad they've been, you've got to protect him. You want to keep him healthy, you protect him. How do you do that? You bulk up your offensive line. Terron Armstead is now gone, which is massive for the Dolphins. They need someone to come in and replace him. They need someone to add extra depth up front on the offensive line. They've got some decent offensive weapons. We know that. We've seen that. McDaniel's a great offensive mind. We know that. We've seen that. But they've got to be able to protect their quarterback, and they also need to address their secondary. Those are the 2 biggest needs for me, the offensive line and the secondary for the Dolphins. But I think at 13, there's going to be a lot of great offensive line talent still available. They address that first, and then they can go down later on in the later rounds and bulk up the secondary. That's what I'm doing if I'm Miami. And finally, the Bills come in at number 30, still struggling to get over the hump and get to the Super Bowl under Josh Allen. This is still a team that's clearly in good shape, right? They were a controversial finish away from being in the Super Bowl and beating Kansas City in the AFC Championship game. They've got one of the best quarterbacks in the league right now in Josh Allen at their disposal. And even after the departure of so many weapons last year, we thought the Bills could maybe take a bit of a drop off. They didn't. They were still very elite, still very productive. So they could go a lot of different ways here. I think the Bills probably need more help on the defensive side of the ball, finding a way to stop these elite quarterbacks they're going to continuously go up against, that they're going to stand in their way of making a Super Bowl. Patrick Mahomes, Joe Burrow, Lamar Jackson. Yes, I know they got the best of Lamar Jackson in the playoffs, etc., but still, anything can happen on any given Sunday in any given year. Continuously bulking up that defense when you've got one of the best quarterbacks at your disposal is going to be pretty massive and a pretty big task. So if I'm Buffalo, I'm looking here, I'm saying cornerback, go with the cornerback or go with the defensive line. The defensive line could be a little shaky this year and for the future. They've got a couple suspensions right out the gate and a lot of guys up front on expiring deals after this season. So if they can't ink those guys in new deals, maybe having some young depth that will be there for a while could be the move. So Buffalo, more than likely, going to go on the defensive side of the ball unless some sort of elite offensive talent just falls right in their lap. This, of course, assuming that they don't trade up. Going over to the AFC West. Let's go with the Raiders out in Vegas. Number 6 overall pick. New era for the Raiders as well. Pete Carroll back in the coaching game. They went out and got themselves Geno Smith. Maybe overpaid a little bit for Geno Smith. But obviously his resurgence with Seattle was very fun to watch and really a feel-good story for him after the disastrous career he had over with the New York Jets. So good luck, Justin Fields. The Raiders clearly have a quarterback now. They're not worried about that, but they really don't have any weapons to go around him. Wide receiver, not that great. Running back, not that great. And I actually would not be surprised to see the Raiders go running back here. And with the number 6 overall pick, you could more than likely see Ashton Jeanty still available. The running back out of Boise State, I think, would be a phenomenal pick for the Raiders. You got a competent quarterback there, and you've got a very dangerous running back there as well. To me, it's a no-brainer pick if Jeanty's still on the board to go for him. He's a hard-nosed runner. He's a dangerous runner. Gives me Marshawn Lynch-type vibes. I mean, they're very different players, sure, but Pete Carroll did great things with Marshawn Lynch, except, giving the ball on the 1-yard line. I think he can do great things with Ashton Jeanty now if they choose to draft him. If they don't go with him, they've got to go wide receiver. They've got to continuously bulk up that offense if you are the Raiders. The Broncos at number 20, so the AFC West, not seeing another team pick until the top 20 or till the 20th and on. They had a pretty good year, right? I mean, a pretty surprising year with Bo Nix and Sean Payton making the playoffs before losing to the Bills. This defense is pretty good, right? The Broncos actually have a pretty good defense and not one that I'm too worried about right now. They'll add a few pieces later on in the draft, sure. But if you're Sean Payton, if you're Denver, you're looking at this thing. We need to continue to get our young quarterback some weapons. We need to continue to add more weapons around him. Primarily at running back, I would say. Running back or obviously wide receiver. More than likely, at number 20, Ashton Jeanty is going to be gone. So, maybe you look at a guy like Cam Scatterboo. Man, imagine how dangerous he could be in this Denver offense. If you don't want to go with him, or if he's already gone, maybe Omarion Hampton out of North Carolina. 2 very good running backs there after Jeanty that could fit perfectly in this Denver offense. If you don't go running back and you want to add another wide receiver, look, Travis Hunter's going to be gone. Tetairoa McMillan probably going to be gone. Maybe you lean Matthew Golden, speedy wide receiver out of Texas. There's some options there for sure, but the wide receiver class is going to get a little bit thinner after maybe the top 15 picks, maybe even after the top 10 picks. So something to watch out for if you're Denver. Maybe you could even see a trade up if they see somebody on offense they really, really like. But they're going to go offense, at least they should go offense, and they need to continue to help their young quarterback. Can't really perform well if you don't have weapons. And Bo Nix showed a lot of promise in year 1 with the franchise. The Chargers at 22, they've got to go offense desperately, right? This defense was very, very good last year, helped them get to the playoff for getting beat pretty bad by the Texans. The Chargers were held to 17 points or less 7 times last year, and that includes their playoff loss to the Texans. So despite having a very good quarterback in Justin Herbert, he has no one around him to help. And Herbert's completely not at fault. He has some issues of his own. Got to take better care of the football. But the Chargers have to give him some good weapons to go with him. Najee Harris and Mike Williams through free agency, good for them, right? It's not going to move the needle that much. The Chargers have got to get themselves a wide receiver desperately. So again, could it be a guy like Matthew Golden since Hunter and McMillan are going to be gone? Could it be somebody else? Could they go tight end, although I doubt it? Do they go running back? Because I think one of those 2 running backs we mentioned, and Cam Scatterboo and Omarion Hampton, could both be there. I know Najee Harris was a pickup. Why not add some extra depth? To me, if I'm the Chargers, I'm adding wide receiver. You've got to give Justin Herbert more options because you cannot go far in the playoffs. You cannot go far in this division if you don't have offensive help. The defense is looking good, but the offense needs a lot of work, and they've got to go get him some playmakers. And then finally, the Chiefs, the 31st pick, Super Bowl runner-up. It was clear, if you watch the Super Bowl, it was clear the Chiefs need help in the trenches. If I'm Kansas City, I'm probably going offensive line. I mean, Mahomes was just getting decimated by the Eagles in that Super Bowl. And then the Chiefs defense really couldn't get much going on Jalen Hurts either. So they were getting bullied up front on offensive line. They were getting bullied up front on the defensive line. they've got to find a way to strengthen both of those areas. And they will address them throughout the draft, but only one can be addressed with the 31st pick. If it's me, I'm going offensive line because you got to protect your quarterback. You can't have Patrick Mahomes getting beat up time and time again. You can't have Mahomes constantly running for his life. He'll probably get a 15-yard penalty, in his favor when he runs for his life. But besides the point, you've got to find a way to protect him and give him time. So unless, some elite offensive talent still on the board and the Chiefs are like, let's just going to add to that. Let's, what was it last year? They added Xavier Worthy late in the draft, late in the first round. Unless someone like that is still around, the Chiefs just want to add more speed and more weapons. I really think if you're Andy Reid and if you're this franchise, you've got to continue to bulk up in the trenches. You saw the issue clear as day in that Super Bowl. If you want to get back to that point and if you want to actually win it again, you've got to find a way to address it. And to me, it's again on that offensive line, but would not be shocked to see him do the defensive line either. So, again, another 8 teams down. We were halfway through the league. We've addressed every single AFC team and their draft needs. Now, just because we say that's what they need doesn't mean that's what they're going to do, right? The draft is full of tons of surprises and tons of shakeups throughout the night. That's why the first round to me is always the most exciting. But regardless, leave your thoughts down in the comments below. Let us know what you think of the AFC East and the AFC West. Who should these teams take? Are we going to see any surprises? We'll know in just a little over a week. Going to be here before we know it, and of course, we'll have you covered every step of the way. But until then, please continue to like, comment, subscribe, share our videos. Check out everything down in the description below. That includes our website, thegridironexpert.com, home to our expert picks, home to our newsletters, home to tons of exclusive content to help you get through this offseason. An offseason that you will not want to miss. Again, we're talking college football with you 24/7, 365 right here at our channel. We want you to take advantage of it. We want you to become a member of our GE Nation. And once again, guys, as always, thank you so much for watching. And we'll see you next time right here on The Gridiron Expert.
Yeah.